Good morning, everyone. How you doing out there? Final Cut TV, live Final Cut and coffee, our Saturday morning ritual that we've been doing. This is episode number 9, and it seems to be people like it. Hundreds of people are watch this every week. I think last week we had about 600, 700 viewers so far in like a week. That's fine. That works. We've got a lot to talk about today. It's Final Cut Pro stuff. We're going to talk about an article that came up last week. They asked the question, is Final Cut Pro professional? Which I put an LOL after that because, of course, it's professional. We know it. If you don't know it, you don't know that. That's the problem, is you don't know. It's not the problem whether it's professional or not. We know it's professional. So we'll go over that article a bit. There's some things in the article that are fine, that I agree with, but the headline is what gets me. And then we're also going to talk about, there was an open letter to Tim Cook a year ago talking about 100 Final Cut Pro editors, Hollywood editors and stuff. And Apple responded to that letter saying that they were going to do certain things. And we have a comment from somebody who was in the group that they're allowed to say, we're going to bring that up a little bit too. And what else are we going to talk about? What else? Somebody tell me in the comments something else we're going to talk about during today's broadcast. Oh, by the way, let me see. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm on the East Coast of the good old USA. There's a new episode of Final Cut Pro Radio out. Just came out yesterday. It's just talking about Final Cut Pro stuff. It's an audio-only podcast. It seems to be people like audio only. I guess when I do it on my walk in the mornings. I listen to podcasts. If I have chores to do or outside work to do, I'll stick in my AirPod Pros 2 and listen to audio only. That's what I do. People like audio only still to this day. Podcasting's been going on for a long time. I've been doing it for 16, 17 years. I've been podcasting. I was one of the early adopters of podcasting. It's just very cool that you can do a radio station, or in this case, a TV station out of your house, and you can reach the entire world. The entire world can watch, tune in. So, somebody comment in the YouTube, what's the other subject matter I'm going to talk about today? I know you know. Somebody can say that's something. In the meantime, I'll have another sip of coffee. If you don't comment, then I'll have to comment. I'll have to say what else we're going to talk about today. Okay, I'm going to tell you. NAB, of course, NAB 2023. There's been Final Cut Pro related events from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. The NAB was only virtual in 2020 and 2021, so there was no Final Cut Pro related events. But when we came back in 2022 last year, there were also no Final Cut Pro specific events. The closest thing we had was the Super Meet. We had people from Final Cut Pro community come to the Super Meet last year. Steve Martin was there, Final Cut Bro was there, Dylan John was there from the Final Cut Pro community, I was there. So we had a gathering where some of the, Serena Catania was there, Sam Messman was there. We had a gathering where we could centrally get together and talk, Final Cut Pro, amongst other things. That was the Super Meet last year. It wasn't only Final Cut Pro. They had Premiere and all kind of other stuff. But I'm just saying we had over half a dozen, 8, 9 Final Cut Pro specific people that gathered there. There's no Super Meet this year. There's no Super Meet. I'm not sure what happened. I reached out to Dan Berube. He never responded. I guess maybe he's done with the Super Meet, maybe. So no Super Meet this year. But there are a couple places that Final Cut Pros can meet up. One of them on Monday night is the Media Motion Ball. This is the last year they're having it, Media Motion Ball. So that's one of the places that I will be. I've already got my tickets, that perhaps some Final Cut Pro people can get together at NAB and share a table and talk Final Cut Pro shop if you want to. That's one of the places. But there's also going to be other places. Let me pull this up. There's also going to be Is that where it is? Let me see. Oh, here we go. So we'll be reporting live, of course. We'll be reporting live from NAB, but that's not what I wanted to show you, actually. Huh, where did that go? Anyway, we have a Facebook group. Actually, yeah, we have a Facebook group, FCP at NAB. And since there's no specific Final Cut Pro events at NAB scheduled, nobody's having a specific Final Cut Pro get-together gathering. In the past, LumaForge did it for 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. They did it for 4 years. At one point, Frame.io, before they were bought out by Adobe, they had a area where a lot of Final Cut Pro people would get together. Faster Together was one of the biggest ones. They had a stage in 2019. The Final Cut Pro team was on stage. Somebody from the team was on stage. And like I said, in 20 and 21, of course, there was this virtual. 2022, last year, there was no specific Final Cut Pro events, except for a lot of us got together at Super Meet, which isn't happening this year. Got our first comment. Morning, Richard. How you doing, Paul? Glad you could make it. Final Cut Pro and coffee. And we're going to be talking about, that was a comment from Facebook, we're going to be talking about three main things. NAB, the article that came out this week, is Final Cut Pro Professional, and I had to laugh when people do articles like that with headlines. And we're going to talk about what's going on about the Apple said they were going to have a meeting with Hollywood and other professionals. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well in this episode. So let me just check on one thing specifically here real quick. That's fine. Everything looks fine. Another comment. Good morning, Chrome LA. Chrome LA. Is that Chrome, Louisiana? Or is that Chrome, Los Angeles? I guess it's Louisiana, right? I'm not familiar with Chrome, Louisiana. I've been through Louisiana before on the way to Florida, but I'm not that familiar. Maybe I stopped there in a hotel or something. All righty. So let's go to, we have our cat. I can hear her in the background. Speaking of cats, this is our cat room live. I don't see much activity there today. It's kind of a rainy day. Usually they stay in the front window. They like to sun themselves in the morning. But I don't see what's going on there. Let me see. Let me see what I have here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. While we're here, so if you want to support, I have supporters. I have some people that are sponsoring my trip to Los Angeles, NAB, not Los Angeles, Vegas. I have some sponsors that I'm going to be announcing probably next Saturday. But in the meantime, viewers like you, listeners like you can sponsor me over there at buymeacoffee.com. So last year we had $200 worth of Buy Me a Coffees. You started $5, $5, $10. Some people buy more than that. Here's one, bought a coffee, bought 5 coffees, bought 3 coffees, bought 5 coffees. Joe Wilson, he said he wants to meet up during Vegas during NAB. We absolutely will meet up, Joe. I think Joe has joined our FCP at NAB Facebook group. So one of the things, let me just pull that up real quick. One of the things that we're going to be doing over there, let me just pull this graphic off here. Well, we'll just pull this off. Let me see. We can do this. One of the things we're going to be doing over there at FCP at NAB is scheduling meetups, scheduling Final Cut Pro people who want to get together. Informal. We're not going to rent a restaurant or anything, but let me see. Is that there? Yeah. We're not going to rent a restaurant or anything, but we can meet up at Starbucks or a couple of other places. Sunday night, I'll be at the FMC Content Creators party. So if you want to meet up there, but that's a paid place. There's a place on Monday before the Media Motion Ball that's free that I'm going to announce on our Facebook group and see if that's going to work for everyone for a meetup, for, a casual meetup. So let me go over here. Anyway, buymeacoffee.com is where these are. And we're going to do this, copy this. Let me see if let's do this one. So let me turn this one off. This is, login. I have to log in? Why do I have to log in? That's weird. Well, anyway, over there on Facebook, let me go back to the graphics page. Here we go. Odd. I'm going to just copy a graphic here and bring it over. Where did that go? So here we go. Final Cut Pro at NAB. This is over there on Facebook. Just look this up, and we're going to schedule informal Final Cut Pro meetups at NAB. Now, one of the things that you have to pay attention to is my YouTube channel, because no Final Cut Pro news yet again. We'll talk about that in a minute. So one of the things we're going to be doing over at my YouTube channel, and this is what I want to make sure you realize. Turn this off, turn this on. Here's my YouTube channel. That's odd. It's not showing up. Anyway, my YouTube channel, Richard Taylor TV, youtube.com, Richard Taylor TV. And I'll be doing my live streams from there, okay? All the live streams from NAB will be on my YouTube channel. I have a NAB 2023 playlist over there. Just follow that playlist, and the newest stream will be at the top of the playlist always. As a matter of fact, we have that on our, let's go over here, video, desktop, cat room. It's not over there for some reason. Let's go over here. Here we go. Let me see. Cam link. Now, why? That's so bizarre. Not over there. I thought I made these in advance. For some reason, they're not showing up. Let me modify this one. Just take me a second here. Yeah. I'll have to get back to that. Anyway, we're going to have some of these meetups. Sunday night is the Content Creators Ball. Monday night is Media Motion Ball. I'm going to be both of those places. We can schedule a meetup there. If you want to have a table at the Media Motion Ball, we can certainly schedule that and have Final Cut Pro people get together and chat and chat and chat. So Nikos says, exactly, Eric, Apple underwhelming for a few years now. I'm not debating that. I'm not going to defend Apple on that point alone, because it's been years. It's been like 3 to 4 years since 10.5, slow pace of development. What I'm hoping, and I'm the eternal Final Cut Pro optimist here, I admit that, is 10.7 changes. 10.7 is a big feature update with a lot of features, not 2. We had 2 features in all of 2022. 2 features. So far, the first 4 months of 2023, no features. So in the last 16 months, at this point, we've had 2 new features for Final Cut Pro. So I'm hoping 10.7 comes out in 2023, and there's going to be a lot of new features added at that point. That's what I'm hoping. So let's go. You know what's weird? Let me see something here. Am I? Maybe. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So here is my NAB playlist. So right now I just have up older videos from previous NABs. There's Chris Hawking and Tony Gallardo. No thanks. Content Creators Party, a bunch of other things, NAB playlist. So the playlist is here. What is going on with the audio on this? Is for some reason it's not playing. I have it turned off somewhere, perhaps. There we go. There we go. Here's another one, arriving at Las Vegas. There's the Link Hotel. This is the Las Vegas convention. That's what it looks like from outside when you're approaching NAB. This is actually the South Hall, which they've got. The South Hall is not being used anymore. This is up at the monorail platform looking towards the convention center. You have to walk across the parking lot, cross the street, but you don't go into the South Hall anymore. You go to the Central Hall, North Hall, and then they have the brand new West Hall, which only opened up in 2022. So those are the three places that you'd be going to at this point. Let me see. Back to that. Exit full screen. There's a couple of others. I have the Black Magic event, talking to Sam Messman. The latest version of Final Cut, the 6.10. 10.6.2.
I mean, look, they solved some problems. I think the voice isolation's cool.
It is cool.
And
it really is.
The dupe detection is something that people have been complaining about for a very long time.
11 years.
So, we checked those boxes. I think, look, obviously we saw the letter that came out, and what do I want to see happen is I want to see Apple get behind the product.
I want to see Apple get behind the product. That's what Sam Messman says. I think the rest of us say that too, but the problem is we don't know what Apple's doing with Final Cut Pro. There's a lot of people that have left the team, 8 or 9 big people, especially like Luke Tristram he left early this year. Steve Bays was the first one that I noticed that left. Things started slowing down when Steve left. I'm not saying that was the cause of the slowdown, but something is causing this incredible slowdown of development of Final Cut Pro. And it's been too long. 2 features in all of 2022 is ridiculous. 2 features in the last 16 months? 16 months is also ridiculous. It's now 4 months into 2023. So I understand the frustration, but I still have hope that 10.7 is going to be a big feature update with a lot of things we've been asking for, right? That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's go back to here. And we are going to, which one are we going to do? Copy of overlays, NAB playlist. So here's the article that I'm talking about. Oh, that's not it. This is Apple acquires AI-powered video compression startup Wave 1. What is this about? I don't know. Wave 1, a California-based startup that has been developing algorithms for compressing videos, has confirmed that it has been purchased by Apple. There you go. Now, let's see what else we have. NAB playlist, Black. I'm going to give a shout out to Black Magic. They have an incredible list of training on their website. Nobody else comes close. Nobody else comes close to what Blackmagic does as far as training goes. Right? They do not. Let me just pull this up here real quick. I'm going to pull this up. This is what I'm talking about. Let me see. There, and there. This is the article I'm talking about. So this came up this week. YM Cinema Mag, and they asked the question, Final Cut Pro. Not Pro anymore. Of course, I had to laugh at that because, of course it's Pro. I know it's Pro. People that use it, of course we know it's Pro. But some of the points that they make in the article are absolutely legitimate. But the headline is misleading, right? The headline is misleading. It's, of course it's Pro. We know it's Pro. People that use it know it's Pro. Absolutely. If we take the Oscars 2023, for example, we can reveal that there's almost not even one film edited in Final Cut Pro. This Hollywood is Hollywood is this big when it comes to the amount of users that Final Cut Pro, that use NLEs. Hollywood has maybe tens of thousands of editors. Final Cut Pro at this point has 4 to 5 million users of the software. So in terms of numbers, Hollywood is this big. In terms of importance, yeah, it's got a sizable chunk of importance, but people on YouTube have more views than Hollywood has. People on YouTube. So YouTube is important as well. Streaming services, Netflix and stuff, they all have millions and millions of views on YouTube. Another comment, after decades of refusing change and ridiculing those that did, I saw Adobe's doing an apology tour now to mitigate some of the exodus to resolve. Really? I have not seen that. I have not seen the apology tour, but they certainly should have one. I was involved years ago with some stuff with Adobe, and I just stopped using it completely. So anyway, let's go back. So this article goes on to say, is it professional? Well, the headline is ridiculous. We know it's professional. A lot of us are using it on a professional basis, but it's fallen behind. So NLE software demands vast research and development. Of course it does. Has Apple given the development of Final Cut Pro lots of research and development? We don't know. It doesn't seem like it for the last 4 years. So since 10.5 and 10.6, both of them were very small updates as far as the amount of features it has. So some of these things in the article I agree with, but the headline is just, it's clickbait. Clickbait, So if we analyze the amount of Final Cut Pro updates released by Apple, we can see a significant reduction in the last few years. Yes, this is what we're talking about. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying that 10.5 and 10.6, there's not been enough updates. There was not enough updates in 2022. 2 updates in 2022. No updates in 2023. 2 updates in the last 16 months. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that they can't get out more updates in that amount of time. Now, excuses? Sure, there's lots of excuses to be passed around. I'm not interested in excuses. I'm interested in getting updates. That's what I'm interested in. So take the 2023 Oscars. Yeah, but Final Cut has never been big in Hollywood up to this point. We're going to talk about that specifically in a little bit from somebody who's on the Apple. They have meetings with Hollywood producers or directors or editors, and we're not going to talk to them. We're going to have a video of them talking specifically just about that point. So I'm not saying that I disagree The Final Cut Pro update frequency decreased even more. Competitors even got stronger, DaVinci and Premiere. Of course, we know about this shift from 7 to 10. We don't have to go over that. Second petition from professionals. So in 2022, 100 people in TV and film production worldwide sent an open letter to Tim Cook of Apple about Final Cut Pro. Just a reminder, here's a quote. "We are excited by Final Cut Pro. We think that it's the biggest leap forward in editing technology since the move to digital. We think it's incredible. Final Cut Pro is a wonderful application used by many YouTubers, education, small business, content creators worldwide. We know why it's successful. It is liberating, efficient, blah, blah, blah." And Apple's response was dull and superficial. It promised to launch a new Apple-authorized certification for Pro Video, which they did, establishing a panel of industry experts for regular consultations, which you haven't heard about. We have heard about it, okay? We have heard about it from somebody who was on the Final Cut Pro team, okay? Let's go there and listen to this. So last December, let me just do this. Last December, I had these panel of Final Cut Pros. Over here, Michael Yanovich. Down there, Serena Catania. Below me, Dason Ortiz. And all the way over that way, over there, is Brad Olson. And we specifically talked about the future of Final Cut Pro. Specifically, right? This is what Michael Yanovich is on the group of professionals that Apple is talking to in Hollywood. Michael Yanovich. Let's hear what he has to say.
That open letter that came out last year that I was one of the signers for. Was it Canute who wrote that? I can't remember, but
I think it was a compilation
started,
between him and other people.
yeah, I think it was great because Apple responded to it, and we're making a push. You know, they made the industry panel, and we're meeting on a regular basis, and we're allowed to say we're on it. We can't say what we're talking about, but we're meeting on a regular basis to try to turn things around. We're not trying to change the whole industry, but we're trying to let producers and production companies know that if your editor wants to work in this, or if your editor's interested, it's a viable alternative, and it'll save you money, it'll save time, and it's a really good approach. So it's getting a little bit easier for me when I do a new film to talk them into letting me do it on Final Cut. It was really hard 5 years ago. Still takes effort, but it's less effort now. So that we're just trying to pave the way to make it easier for future films to be done on it.
That's Michael Yanovich, who has attended the meetings with Apple and the Final Cut Pro team talking about what has to be done for Final Cut Pro. He was on last December. I've known about it since then, that he's on the panel. He's allowed to say he's on the panel. He's not allowed to talk about what they discuss. Of course, it's NDA. He's probably seen a future version of Final Cut. I'm going to say that. He did not say that. I'm going to surmise that the people on this panel are seeing future version of Final Cut. And so that panel that Apple talked about in the letter is absolutely happening by somebody who was there. Michael Yanovich. He talked about it on our show last December. It's not news to me that the panel exists. Now, what's happening in that meeting? Well, this is my conjecture. They're showing them future versions of Final Cut. They're showing them the beta. They're showing what features that are coming. They're getting feedback. What features do you want? Well, it took 11 years to get dupe detection, so that wasn't good. Should have been out a long time ago, but at least we got it last year. So they are listening to some of this stuff. Michael is very when I've talked to him recently, without revealing anything, I'm not saying he revealed anything, he absolutely did not, he's very upbeat about the future of Final Cut because he's seen the future of Final Cut. That's me talking, not Michael. That's me talking, not Michael. Michael has not said anything about that, okay? But he just said that he's in the meeting, and he's allowed to do that. Don't they realize that we're on the air? Hello, this is Richard. Yeah, yes. Yeah, we're live on the air right now. Okay. All right, that's fine. I won't say who you are. Can I say you're from Apple? I can't tell you're from Apple, calling me on the phone right now. You're watching the live stream and you want to make a comment about the meetings that they're having in LA with Hollywood producers. Oh, you don't want me to talk about that, but you have something to tell me that I can't talk about? The meetings in Hollywood with the Hollywood producers and editors and stuff? All right, go ahead. All right. So is that Final Cut Pro 10.7 you're talking about? Oh, I can't say that. But obviously 10.7 is coming out at some point, right? Of course. I mean, everybody knows it's on the way. We're at 10.6.5. Of course, logically, 10.7 is going to be here in 2023 probably. That's nothing you're telling me. But the meetings are happening with Apple, as the open letter suggested. They are happening with editors in Hollywood and stuff. Well, let me make one suggestion to you. Have some meetings with ordinary editors. Have some meetings with people that are just doing weddings and people that are on YouTube with a small amount of listeners, educators, documentary filmmakers. Don't just concentrate on the Hollywood people because that's only a small segment. Talk to regular editors as well. You'll get a lot of good ideas from that. I won't say who you are. Don't worry. I'm not going to say you're from Apple. I won't tell anybody you're from Apple. That's fine. That's fine. I won't say anything. But listen, we have to get back to the live stream right now. So I really, really appreciate you calling. You can call anytime you want to. All right? All right, Tim. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay. We got a call from somebody talking about those meetings that they're having over there in Hollywood. So here we have a 30-day reminder. Apple already has our money, and I feel like they do not care about it anymore. Okay, 30-day filmmaker. Apple has $300, $299 for 11 years of updates. $299 for 11 years of updates. I'm not going to defend Apple, but I'm saying that's not that much money for 11 years. You know? Let's see what else he has to say. Apple is missing the boat with a chance to offer AI tools in Final Cut Pro, even by some other companies to integrate it. At least give me an audio mixer like Premiere. I 100% agree with you. I've been waiting for an audio mixer for a while, and I think audio is improvements in Final Cut Pro, one of the areas they're working on, because it's sorely, sorely needed. Absolutely. He says he doesn't care about certifications. He cares about features. I agree that I care about features. Absolutely care about features. However, for some people, certifications there's nothing wrong with certifications. I'm certified. I'm a Final Cut Pro trainer. I've been a trainer for years. So, and I used to teach those classes. Final Cut Pro may never penetrate Hollywood's avid gatekeepers. That's fine. It has little to do with its effectiveness. Resolve hasn't gotten into Hollywood either, and they add features regularly. Eric, Resolve has gotten into Hollywood. Okay, absolutely. They've been there for a while for color correction. And since they're in there for color correction, that also includes Resolve, the video editor. So it's there. It's there. I'm not saying they're making headway. The problem with, not the problem, the reason Avid is so hard to unseat is because of all the hardware infrastructure. The unions also do not want easy, effective NLEs in Hollywood. They want the hard stuff that takes a lot of training. They want their editors to be, not be easily replaced by YouTubers who use Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve. So there's multiple layers to unravel. Will Final Cut Pro get into Hollywood? Yes, they will. They've already been there. We've already seen feature films. The Banker was done on Final Cut Pro. A bunch of other ones have been done on Final Cut Pro. So we know it can be done. The idea that it can't be done is complete nonsense. We've seen Hollywood films that can be done with Final Cut Pro. The problem is getting through all the layers of bureaucracy and the, Avid has the massive infrastructure and the ability to share projects and share with multiple editors and colorists and sound people. Michael Yanovich called them tentpole features. That's what Final Cut Pro would have to do. But listen, I've talked to the Final Cut Pro team. They have told us, although Hollywood's important, it's not the main thing they're concerned with. There's millions and millions of other Final Cut Pro editors that they are working with. Hollywood is a small part. It's not the only thing, okay? Education, YouTubers, documentary, wedding filmmakers, all kinds of people use Final Cut. So I don't want them to just concentrate on Hollywood. Just dedicate the appropriate amount of attention to Hollywood. Maybe give it a little bit more, but don't become a Hollywood, go after Hollywood. They haven't after 11 years. They're not going to start now. That'd be ridiculous. But by the same token, the idea that they're not paying attention to Hollywood is not true. They are paying attention to Hollywood, but give it the proper amount of attention. Things that Hollywood wanted, dupe detection, benefits all of us. It's trickle-down features. Features that Hollywood wants, for the most part, will benefit all of us. But there's lots of room. I'm hoping that 10.7 is the AI-enhanced version of Final Cut Pro. I'm hoping there's a whole backlog of features that they are adding to 10.7. And when it comes out, we'll go, oh, that's what you've been working on. Don't give me that nonsense about, oh, we had to do Apple Silicon and we had to do M2 metal. That's just excuses. I don't care about that. I mean, I care that they had to do it, but everybody had to do it, so it's nothing usual. Apple doesn't care about our $27 a year so far. So, well, $27 a year isn't much, is it? $2 a month? Legacy Final Cut Pro at one time did a pretty good presence in Hollywood. Yes, they did. We're not debating that Final Cut Pro slipped going from 7 to 10 as far as Hollywood and a lot of things. I'm not debating that. I'm not defending that. Take CC out of Resolve and they would never use it. Of course, Resolve color correction is and has been primary for Hollywood. That's what I'm saying. It's just like when Steve Jobs allowed Windows to have iTunes. It's the Trojan horse to get into Hollywood. I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying that it's already there. Focus was cut entirely and graded on Final Cut Pro. Exactly. Focus was one. There was another one, major stars. The Banker was major stars. That also was done on Final Cut. So the idea that it can't be done is nonsense. We've already seen 3 or 4 major Hollywood films with major stars that were cut in Final Cut Pro. So to anybody that says it can't be done, BS. You're lying to yourself. You have cognitive dissonance. You're just confirmation bias. We know it can be done. We've seen it can be done. There's reasons why most Hollywood films are done on Avid, because of the infrastructure, because it's been there for years and years and years. The unions are another issue. I just find it hard to believe that there's an actual full-time with the lack of updates. If the team comprised of members from other teams and projects, they have a dedicated Final Cut Pro team. Some of the members, there's also a Pro Video Apps team, and there's other teams that are like intermingled. So they certainly have a Final Cut Pro team, motion team, they have a compressor team, logic team. And I'm not going to do, like I said, I'm not going to defend their lack of updates because it's completely unacceptable to me, has been for years. But I still like Final Cut Pro, and I still like the Final Cut Pro team. I'm hoping to see some of them at NAB. I'm sure they're going to be there. They're not going to be there in an official presence. There's no official, disappointing, but at this NAB, there's no official Apple presentation anywhere. Nobody is doing a Final Cut Pro Apple specific presentation, even if it's not the main thing. Like I said, Super Meet last year, there were a dozen Final Cut Pro people. We got together and we had a good time and chatted. This year, I'm going to the Media Motion Ball on Monday night, and the FMC Content Creators Party on Sunday night. I'll be at both of those events. But join the Final Cut Pro Facebook group, FCP at NAB, and we're going to schedule a few informal meetups at a Starbucks or whatever, and we'll see how that goes. Richard, maybe give us a heads up to Alex Gollner about that episode with Yanovich. I think he was looking to see if anybody has publicly acknowledged that the panel exists. I already did. We have a private Facebook group that both of us belong to, Yanovich, Alex, and myself, and I already told him that Yanovich talked about this live on this show, Final Cut TV Live, in December, 3 months ago. He acknowledged he is on the panel. He said he can talk about it. He made sure he can say that. Anybody on that panel can come out and say that, yes, they're on the panel. Yes, they're on the panel. Nathan says, great, yes. Absolutely. But, you know, if you're watching this show, this news, we know for 3 months now that the panel exists and the Yanovich is on the panel. By the way, I want to just bring this up real quick. This is my setup. I have a new gimbal for Final Cut Pro, for NAB. I got this just yesterday. It just came out. This is the Insta360. I have some extra features here that I had. This is my MKE 400 shotgun mic, which I use when I connect. But this is the new gimbal from Insta360, and I really, really like it so far. This is the one I'll be doing when you see me at NAB, what I'll be doing at NAB. It's really nice. I really like it. This is an extra handle I have so I can mount a microphone. I can mount a light over here and some other things. Just connect it in via, I connect my DJI mic over here. On this side, my mic system, they have a lightning connector. I go over there and I'm wireless. This is wireless, and I have a lapel mic that's wireless, but I really like it so far. It's the Insta360. It's replacing my DJI OM5, just in case you're interested. I am going to do a whole series of equipment that I'm using NAB coming up in the next few weeks. So will Apple announce new Final Cut Pro around NAB or WWDC? My bet is 10.7, certainly in 2023. Whether it's in time for NAB, we only have 2 weeks left. I'm not sure. At one point, I thought it was a no-brainer, and it's still the best event for Final Cut Pro to come out because NAB is about video production. It's about film production. It's about audio. Specifically, WWDC is about a whole bunch, dozens and dozens of applications and developers and stuff. It's not about video production. NAB is the place to make the announcement if they do. If they don't, it doesn't make NAB, then the next logical step is WWDC with the new Mac Pro. I do not think they'll announce a new version of Final Cut at WWDC unless they have hardware to demo it on. And that'll be the new Mac Pro, the M2 Max Mac Pro. Now, as far as I know, you can check it out and see, there's never been a full number update of Final Cut Pro released at WWDC. Never. All the full number updates have come out around the Creative Summit in Cupertino in the fall and around NAB if they came around an event, or they just came out, one or the other. Now, Apple has announced multiple times updates to Final Cut Pro around NAB. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Let me just pull this up and I'll get my... I have a list here of times that... Now, where is that? Let me pull this up. I have a list of times that Final Cut Pro was announced around NAB. Let me see. Well, last year, for example. But there's also other times that Final Cut Pro was announced around NAB. Let me just pull this up. Okay. ProRes RAW was released on NAB Monday. Okay. ProRes RAW was announced. I think that was 2018. Final Cut Pro was unveiled on April the 12th, 2011 at the Super Meet at NAB. That's twice that Final Cut Pro big announcements came around NAB. Then we had version 10.2, Final Cut Pro 10.2 released during NAB Show 2015. Even the classic version of Final Cut Pro 4.5 was released on NAB Sunday. 10.4.1 released during the NAB Show 2018. And both 5 and 6, the classic versions of Final Cut Pro, both of them were released around NAB. So there's over half a dozen times when major updates to Final Cut Pro were released around NAB, including last year was not major, but last year 10.6.2 came out like a week before NAB in April, or 2 weeks before. So there's 8 times or 7 times major updates to Final Cut Pro were released around NAB. NAB is the place to release these features, these new updates, absolutely. So the question was, Apple will announce new Final Cut Pro NAB or WWDC. I still have hope that in the next 2 weeks we're going to see an update to Final Cut Pro, but I'm not confident on that. But I hope it could happen. I hope it's not 10.6.6, unless it's a sneak peek like they did last year of a new version of Final Cut Pro coming out, or it indeed has features. We don't need another bug fix for NAB. That's not what I'm talking about. We've had 3 bug fixes in a row, 10.6.3, 10.6.4, and 10.6.5 in 2023. 3 bug fixes in a row is unprecedented. They'd never had that many bug fixes in a row without having features in there as well. Apple also recently had a job posting for a pro workflow video expert. There you go. That's always good. Okay, Richard, but in fact, if you invest to a third-party plugins, you get huge editing systems, target from start. Plugins are still updated. No, I understand. I'm not defending Apple's lack of updates. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I still have confidence that 10.7, I have complete confidence in the Final Cut Pro team. Whatever the reason for the lack of updates, I'm hoping that'll be alleviated when 10.7 comes out. That's what my hope is. There was a good article recently written about Final Cut Pro and how far behind they are from other NLE platforms. We already discussed that, Jeff. You're coming in late. We already discussed that. Let me pull it up here. Where is that? Right here. This is the one you're talking about. Nobody's debating that. But what I'm debating is the fact that it's not pro anymore. It's just a clickbait headline. That's what I'm talking about. So the other thing is this. You can use the free version of Blackmagic Resolve and Final Cut Pro. You've already paid for Final Cut Pro. You can keep on using it. I've been using Final Cut Pro since version 1, so I've used Blackmagic, and I like it Resolve. I also like LumaFusion a lot. I love LumaFusion. The more sophisticated it becomes on the Mac, the more gets me excited about it. Right now, I don't use the iPad for video editing. I have a MacBook Pro. I'm not sure why I use an iPad, but in any event, so you can use Blackmagic. If you already paid for Final Cut, just if you don't want to use it for the time being, just put it away. Come back when 10.7 or another major feature update comes out. That's what I'm saying. So what is this? Why isn't that show me coffee? So one of the things, let's take this off. One of the things you can do is to support me and my live streams and stuff. I talked about this earlier. Buy me a coffee. Oh, we got another coffee. Look, we got another. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We have another coffee on this live stream. Bought me a coffee. We're approaching, last year we had 200, but just go to buymeacoffee.com/Richard Taylor. $5, $10, whatever you like. Just one coffee is completely fine. These are the ones I'll be doing at NAB, and I appreciate the support. You know, it's one thing, the financial part, that's fine, completely fine, and I appreciate that. It's not only going to be coffee, it's going to buy me a cheeseburger, French fries. It'll buy me a breakfast over there at Maxie's, one of my favorite places to go. I might go to a couple of other places, but it's all these things. That's what you're supporting. Hope new Final Cut Pro reflects the Apple mantra of skating to where the puck will be, surprise and challenges. Absolutely, Eric. Now, here's what I think. I think the artificial intelligence be incorporated. They've already done that. Machine learning is the voice isolation. Jeff says maybe the next update will be Luma Cut Pro. Well, Jeff, you can already use LumaFusion on M1 Macs. They allow that to be done, but it's not really developed for M1 Macs. It's really developed for the iPad and the iPhone. So, but you can run it on M1 Macs right now. And I think they have one person that's dedicated to the Mac version to make sure that everything works okay, but they're not really being developed yet for the Mac. I'd like to see that. I really like LumaFusion a lot. It's probably my favorite NLA outside of Final Cut. So, absolutely. So, what else do we want to talk about? Those are all the good things. We got lots of, there's, that article that came out last week, where was it? Did I save that? Let me see if I saved that somewhere. Let's go here, main top, Facebook. Oh, here we go, over here. Let me see if I save that. I'm not sure if I saved it or not. I don't think I did, but there's another article that's talked about Final Cut Pro and somebody used it. Red Shark News, that's where it was. Let's go over there. Let's go over there real quick. By the way, we're on Facebook, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. Twitter has a streaming platform. I'm streaming now for almost an hour. Yeah, an hour on Twitter, and it's there. It's available. People don't know that, but it is. Tom Morris said, looking forward to seeing you at NAB. Tom, that's fantastic. Make sure you come up and say hi. And join our Facebook group, FCP at NAB. Look it up on Facebook. We're going to schedule impromptu, informal meetups there. There won't be a dozen of them, but there might be 2 or 3. But anyway, Sunday night I'll be at the FMC Content Creators Ball. If you're taking any of their classes, I think it's included in the ticket. Monday night I'll be at the Media Motion Ball. Grab a table and somebody grab a table for Final Cut Pro people, and we'll all get together at a table there. I think Philip Hodges is going to be there, Greg Clark, Serena Catania. I know those 3 are going to be there, so I'll probably be sitting with them, if not, but I'll be wandering around filming as well. It's not just that, but that's Monday night. Tuesday night, there's a amateur radio meetup. I'm a amateur radio KC3 RTV. Have my ham radio license. I got it a few years ago, right at the beginning of COVID, so I haven't really advanced much, but I intend to. Tom Moore says, I work with Future Media Concepts. I'm sure I'll see you a bunch of times. Fantastic. That's great. Just stop up and say hi. So one of the things that I'm doing with these live streams for NAB, a lot of people are doing remote things. Well, that doesn't really interest me. If you're doing remote, I can watch the original vendors' videos. I don't need you to go around and, look at the vendors' videos that are already available. I'm providing a live window into NAB. You are going to see short little segments, a window into NAB right here. It's a window. I'm going to provide a live window, 5 and 10 minutes at a time. When I first arrive at the convention center, I'll pull up a live stream, give you 5 or 10 minutes when I walk around. When I do other things at NAB, anytime anything's interesting, I'll certainly show you the Black Magic area. This is going to be live, as long as my cell phone connection holds out. That's kind of an issue at NAB. But I'm going to give you a live window at NAB multiple times, starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday in the morning. And I'm going to be doing live streams from my hotel room. I'm going to be filming all the time. If you're around me at NAB, or actually anywhere that's Final Cut Pro, expect to be filmed. I'm filming all the time, so expect to be filmed. But I'm going to be doing this live window in NAB starting on Sunday. Once I go to my hotel, drop off my bags, I'm going to head right up to NAB, the Convention Center. It opens at 10 o'clock. I'll probably be there close to 10, and we'll start a live stream for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to give you, listeners, a window live into NAB, okay? Live into NAB. That's what I'm going to be doing. Plus, I'm going to be accumulating interviews. I'm going to be interviewing people. Absolutely. My sponsors, I'll be interviewing all of them. And anything else that's Final Cut Pro centric, I'm trying to get interest in Final Cut Pro at NAB. I'm trying to seek it out or create it. One or the other. Now, we still have 2 weeks before NAB. Let's see if there's an update to Final Cut Pro between now and NAB. Don't know if there's going to be. My confidence is not high that that's going to happen. My confidence in Final Cut Pro is at a mid to low level because of the lack of updates. You haven't had an update in 16 months, we've had updates, not a feature, I mean. In 16 months, so my expectations for Final Cut Pro are about here. I want them to be up here. I want 10.7 to come out and blow everybody away once again. Restart this interest in Final Cut Pro. Restart it. That's what I want to see. And that's it. I mean, I use Final Cut Pro to edit, and I use LumaFusion sometimes, and I use Resolve sometimes. That's plenty. I don't want any more. Thank you. Unless something brand new comes out. We'll have to see. As a matter of fact, speaking of LumaFusion, I am surprised at how efficient you can edit on an iPhone. I thought it had to be on an iPad, at least. But you can actually edit very efficiently with LumaFusion on an iPhone. So, NAB, that's where you want to go. Subscribe to, let me see something. Is that? Very interesting. That's not playing, but it's not. I don't know why. I have my little promo for YouTube, but it's not playing. Let me see if this one plays. Nope, doesn't play. All right, I can't do anything about that. But anyway, go over there, as you know, to Richard Taylor TV on YouTube. There's a brand new episode of Final Cut Pro Radio. It just came out yesterday. It was dropped. And we're talking about the same things we're talking about today. A lot of the same things. We're going to be talking to a lot of people at NAB. Anybody I see that can come on camera, the Final Cut Pro team cannot come on camera. They cannot come on camera. If they're, I can't go up to them live and say, hey, you're on Final Cut Pro TV or Final Cut TV. Can't do that, and I won't do it. But I do talk to the people on the team. I've talked to them at the Creative Summit. I've talked to them at NAB. And I will never reveal things that I say in private unless they say it's okay. That's the only time I will reveal any private conversation. It's not what we're here for. Anybody have any other questions about Final Cut? Okay, please drop in link to the NAB group. I will do that right now. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up for you. I'll put it on screen. Hold on 1 second. Copy. And we'll do a text, and we'll do a this. Hold on 1 second. We don't need that. Here it is. Facebook.com/groups/FCP at NAB. FCP NAB, not at NAB. That's the web address for the Final Cut Pro group. Once again, the group is, let me pull that up here. Hold on a second. I'll pull it up for you. The group is, you can support me over there at Buy Me a Coffee. Absolutely. I appreciate it. So last year we had over $200 of Buy Me a Coffees. And this year we're almost at 100 at this point. So 2 more weeks to get to 200. Let me just pull this up. And I'll put this in here. Save. And I'll turn this one off, and I'll turn this one on. And here we go. We have to log in. Darn it. That's what I did last time. That's not going to work. Okay, let me do this then. Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's the address. Let me go back there. There's the address. Facebook.com/groups/FCPNAB. That's the address. App My Home. Now, what is App My Home? What is that? App My Home. Absolutely. But anyway, I'll be broadcasting to that group. I'll be broadcasting to Final Cut Pro, radio, TV, broadcasting to Final Cut Pro Tips and Tricks. It has like 8,000 members at this point. Oh, they're tech influencers. Okay, there you go. Always room for more good tech influencers, that's for sure. Absolutely. But my idea is this, okay? I'm going to announce in that group a place we can meet up on Monday, early evening, before the Media Motion Ball, and it's free, okay? It's free. If there's enough people, I will go to this free event before the Media Motion Ball, and we can have a meetup. There's drinks there, there's other people there, but we can have a Final Cut Pro meetup on Monday before the Media Motion Ball. If there's enough interest, I'm not going to worry about it. If we have our group and there's not enough people going, then I'll just go right to the Media Motion Ball. Probably, I might go there anyway. But This is why you want to join the group, the Facebook group, or contact me via social media and say, hey, where are the meetups happening? And I'll send you information. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing that. I'm just going to have a certain amount of time that I'm going to dedicate to trying to do informal Final Cut Pro meetups at NAB. That's my idea. App My Home says, check us out on YouTube. Final Cut Future Media Concept alum. Absolutely. That'd be fantastic. That'll be great. So I'm going to get out of here. We've been on for a little over an hour. Once again, support me over there at buymeacoffee.com/Richard Taylor. I appreciate it. Let's see if we can get up to 200. That's what I'll be doing. By the way, leading up to NAB, next week, not this week, but next week, I'll be doing some live streams / videos of the equipment that I'll be taking to NAB with me. Microphones, streaming equipment, the gimbal that I showed you earlier, and other gizmos, cables, connectors that I'll be using while I'm at NAB. And I'll probably be doing a few live stream tests to make sure I have the right optimal audio setup. That'll be starting next week. Not this coming week, but a week from this, maybe Monday, I'll start. All right? Any other questions or comments? Go ahead and post them in there if you want to before we get out of here for the day. But I appreciate each and every one of you showing up at these meets. Oh, by the way, next week, maybe it might be 10 o'clock. It might be 10 o'clock next Saturday, so pay attention instead of 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock seems to work pretty well, but next week, next Saturday, I have an editor. We have to work on things, and I think he's coming over at 11, which means I'll have to do these at 10 o'clock next week. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's all you have to do. Let's check on the cat room. There we go. There's Miss Amanda Jones there. She's in the cat bed with Tuffy. We have a orange cat, orange and white. She's cleaning him right now. He's enjoying it. I think it's Tuffy. It looks like Tuffy. It is indeed. I think let's play this beginning part one more time. Michael Yanovich talking about the Apple group that he's a part of.
That open letter that came out last year that I was one of the signers for. Was it Canute who wrote that? I can't remember, but
I think it was a compilation between him and other people.
Yeah, I think it was great because Apple responded to it, and we're making a push. You know, they made the industry panel, and we're meeting on a regular basis. And we're allowed to say we're on it. We can't say what we're talking about, but we're meeting on a regular basis to try to turn things around. We're not trying to change the whole industry, but we're trying to let producers and production companies know that if your editor wants to work in this, or if your editor's interested, it's a viable alternative, and it'll save you money, it'll save time, and it's a really good approach. So it's getting a little bit easier for me when I do a new film to talk them into letting me do it on Final Cut. It was really hard 5 years ago. Still takes effort, but it's less effort now. So that we're just trying to pave the way to make it easier for future films to be done on it.
So there you have it. Somebody who's been at the meetings and has confirmed the meetings are taking place. Michael Yanovich, that was on our broadcast from last December. So it's been out for 3 months. That information's been out. Hello, and thanks for the updates, Richard. Thank you very much. I'm going to get out of here, everyone. If you have a chance, don't forget, buymeacoffee.com, Richard Taylor. We have supporters here. Buy me 1 coffee, 3 coffees, 5 coffees. It's not all going to be for coffee, but it's going to be for hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and other things. Breakfast, stuff like that. Everybody, I appreciate you all coming by. I'm going to finish up here, and I will see you next Saturday, probably at 10 o'clock. So pay attention as you subscribe over there at youtube.com/Richard Taylor TV. All right? Talk to you all later.